Hi everyone! I had so much fun doing the video yesterday that I decided to do it again today. I can't believe that I talked for 11 minutes and you guys actually sat there and listened to me and that I had enough to talk about. I promise today's session will be definitely shorter. I wanted to share with you something that I learned in anatomy class that I thought was pretty interesting, and it has changed the way that I shop for footwear, the way I walk, the way I stand, the way I sit, and basically the way that I carry myself. Today we have a guest with us. His name is Mr. Bones. Say hi, Mr. Bones. Mr. Bones is actually going to help us demonstrate what I wanted to tell you. So basically, we know that your joints can cause a chain reaction within your body and make the rest of your body sore, but I want to kind of explain the mechanics behind that and why it happens. So let's just pretend Mr. Bones is wearing some high heels. I know, pretty funny, but more power to you, Mr. Bones, if that's what you want to do. So here we are, we have Mr. Bones and he's wearing high heels, and we know that when you're wearing high heels, generally the weight of your body is in the ball of your foot and your heel is elevated because of the platform of the heel. And because your body and your weight is on the ball of your foot, your body is generally, because of gravity, leaning forward, and we don't want to lose our balance and we don't want to fall over, so our different joints in our bodies compensate for the gravity pushing our body forward plus the heel. And see this little nice bend that you have in your ankle joint? Basically your ankle joint, it naturally tends to bend backwards, as you see there, but when you have your foot elevated and the weight of the ball on your foot, your ankle knows that you're off balance and it works hard to compensate for that, and it generally bends forward. And then your knee realizes that something's up with your ankle joint, and that decides to bend backwards. And then your hip bends forward, and so on, all the way up your vertebrae, each little vertebrae bending different all the way up your neck. Now, that sounds a little painful to me. To explain it further, if you want to picture Mr. Bones' a side view right here, his joints are actually reacting in a zigzag effect, going up this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, if you can imagine that. So basically the ankle joint is tilting one way, knees another way, hips another way, back and forth, all the way up to your neck. And that just makes me hurt thinking about it. I don't wear high heels anymore. I maybe wear them like once a year to a wedding so I can look cute. But that's about it, because I don't need any more pain in this body. Now, knowing that our muscles help our joints move, our joints all move in like a hinge motion, kind of like a door opening and closing. You know how that works. So our muscles help our joints move. Now let's just pretend that this rubber band is a muscle. And if you compromise any part of that muscle, it's going to become weakened. We know that either end of that muscle is attached to a bone. And what happens is, if that bone generally sits right here in comparison to this side, and it's pulled in a different direction, it's going to pull your muscle and it's going to weaken your muscle, generally in the middle or different parts that are weak. And what happens is, this part of the muscle that's weakened will attach itself to, say, another bone or muscle, or what's called fascia, which if you buy a chicken breast in the store before you cook it, you know, that white filmy skin-like stuff, that's fascia. And we all have that under our skin, above our muscles and our bones, kind of protect them. Just another layer. And what happens is, you pull your stretched muscle like this, and say this part right here is weakened, that's going to attach to something else. So you have 3 points where this muscle is attached, and it's only supposed to be attached at 2 points. So what you see right here where my pinky is, when it's attached to another bone, is actually when you feel a knot in your body. And what we have to do is work that knot out, and kind of detach the muscle from the places that it's attached to. And your body, when the muscle is weakened, it doesn't want to snap, which, if you've ever had a torn muscle, I know I had a torn rotator cuff, and that is the worst pain ever. And so basically your body naturally tries to prevent tears in your muscle, and that's, forming knots is a natural way to do that. So what you do is you kind of work the knot out, but your muscles still weaken, so it's important to exercise those muscles to strengthen them, doing weight-bearing exercises and various things like that. But until your muscles are strengthened, you're always going to have knots in your muscles, and you're always going to have problems. And knowing that we have this joint disease, and that our joints are going to be pulled in directions they're not normally pulled in throughout our body, and we all know the disfigurements that this disease causes, and how your fingers bend a certain way and all that. Knowing the effect it has on your muscles, I think, for me, I'm not going to wear heels. I need to basically preserve the joints that are working right now. I also started wearing a new line of footwear called Earth Shoes. And if you go online, if you want to do a Google search for Earth Footwear, or I'll actually have a link right down below here for Earth Footwear, or Earth Shoes, you might have heard them be called as. But the reason why these shoes are so unique is your body naturally is not aligned, having to do with gravity, which is kind of scary when you think about it, because you think your body actually tends to, you know, if you sit up straight, you think you're aligned and your posture is great, but really it's not. And what this shoe does is it tilts your body back instead of forward like a heel shoe does, and it tilts your body back 3.7 degrees. And just that slight amount realigns every joint in your body. And last year I went to a shoe store. You can kind of find them in shoe stores like Stride Right and things like that, but it's very, very hard. And I had to ask them, and they had a bunch in the back that weren't even on display. So it was kind of like a secret thing. And I had to ask them if they had any, and they just brought out what they had. But these shoes, when I put these sneakers on, I was having a flare-up. My joints were inflamed. I wasn't feeling good. My muscles hurt. And as soon as I put these shoes on and I walked around with them, amazing. The pain decreased. I was maybe, pain scale, I was at an 8. And then as soon as I put these shoes on and my joints kind of realigned just from walking a few steps in them, I was probably at a 2. That's how amazing these shoes are. And generally the sneakers are a lot better than the sandals. The sandals are good when you get used to the sneakers and you get used to walking that way in those shoes. The sandals are good because it kind of, you can still wear cute shoes, and it's not generally like wearing flip-flops where you have no support whatsoever. You still have the support, just not as much as a sneaker. And these shoes are pretty expensive. They run $100 a pair. And they used to look like old granny shoes, but now they actually have some cute styles. And they run about $100 a pair, but if you find a shoe you like, you can actually go to the Home Shopping Network website, which I'll post a link down right under the Earth Footwear site. And you can go to the Home Shopping Network site and buy the shoes. They have a great return policy if the shoes don't fit you. And they actually can do it in a payment plan for you. I just bought a pair of sneakers probably a few months ago, and I only paid $25 a month, which is a big help seeing as I'm not working right now. So these shoes, I highly, highly recommend them. They have made walking so much easier for me when I'm having a flare-up, and when it's actually more comfortable for me to walk in these shoes than actually walking barefoot sometimes. So I highly recommend these shoes. I hope that you can try them and you can afford to try them. And that's it. So that's my blog for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was educational, and I'll see you soon. Bye.